Hi everyone, Stephanie here, coffee drinker, book lover, and reviewer of many things. I am talking about Anne of Green Gables. Look at this. I love this one. This is an unabridged copy of it. And if you hear noises, my kid is playing Lingo Kids down there, like right there. Anyway, I read and listened to this book. It's the first time I've done something like that, and I have to say, I don't think I liked it. Like, I literally was like listening and reading at the same time. My brain was trying to do too much at once, I think, and yeah, I love the story. Anne of Green Gables it's a good story, okay? And I think it's recommended for 9 and up. I agree. I know sometimes I pick up a book that's for 9 and up, and I'm like, maybe a little bit older. But this one, Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery, I agree. It's for 9 and up. I know if you've seen the TV shows and the movies, they give more background to Anne, but in the unabridged story, they don't. It's not as bad as they make it seem. There is a time in the beginning where Morella, I forgot her name, because for those of you who don't know the story, when freckled-faced orphan Anne Shirley is mistakenly adopted by Morella and Matthew, they nearly send her back. But Anne falls in love with Green Gables. Her infectious enthusiasm and lively imagination get her into trouble, but slowly she wins their hearts. So it starts with Matthew, Mr. Cuthbert, going to pick up a boy that they adopted to help around the farm because they're getting older. And when he gets there, and the station master, who has been left in charge of this, I think she's 11. 11-year-old? Yeah. I think she's 11. And the station master is like, oh, well, that was what was left for you. This young girl who talks an awful lot and is very imaginative. And he's like, no, there's a mistake. We're waiting for a boy. And he's like, no, she's your problem. The station is closed. Take your ward. Move along. And so he can't leave her. Like, he's like, well, I can't just leave her here. Like, thank goodness that they are good people, because I'm sure that, especially back then when kids were just carted, or like, they weren't really with anyone. It was like, okay, send you on your way. I'm sure that there had been kids just left. Okay? So, thank goodness he was a good guy, and he was like, alright, well, we'll get everything sorted out. Let's go. But he didn't tell her that she was supposed to be a boy. He lets Morella do that because he's a softie, and I love Matthew throughout this whole entire series. Morella is the hard, like, no, you have to do things this way, and Anne gets upset, and Matthew will be like, sneak in to her room and be like, hey, let Morella pretend like you're going along with it, and so that we can see you. And that happens in the beginning. I love this book because there are pictures, and I'm like, that's exactly what I envision. And yeah. So I'm trying to think, is there any problems? There are some bullying. There are some bullying. I am so good at English. There is some bullying. Oh, before I get into that, Marilla does ask her about her past, and she's asking. She tries to ask it in a kind way because she knows she's heard stories, bad stories about kids that have been orphans, and she asks, "Did your former family ever send you to school? Like, can you read? Can you write?" And Anne tells her, Anne gets a faraway look. They do not explain why she has this faraway look. Anne goes, "Oh, I'm sure they're very good people, and they would have liked to send me to school, but there was too much to do around the house." And Marilla doesn't press the topic, and she's like, "Oh, I'm sure." And Marilla's like, "No, I gotta take this girl under my wing. She needs a proper upbringing." And Anne does use some very big words. She went to some schooling when she was in the asylum, the orphanage. And she does know, she did learn to read, and she learned to write a little bit. She is very good at reading, but not so good at writing. And that is when her temper comes in, because when she's in school, everyone who has seen or heard anything about Anne of Green Gables knows the chalkboard scene. And I'm just saying, Gilbert, you deserved it. You deserved it. Why would you pick on all of the girls? And he never got in trouble for it. It makes me very upset because the teacher's like, "No, she outbursted in my class." And it's like, because he's a boy, you're not going to punish him. But said was the time of back then, whatever year this was. But I love the description of all of the places and how she changes. They describe this scene just like this. This is what I've always envisioned when I've read, or whenever I thought about Barry's Pond. I'm sorry. She changes the names of things. It's really funny. I don't have any problems with this. There is death towards the end of the book. I feel like I need to read the other Anne books. It ends happily. There is, for those of you who are not religious people, they do talk about church a lot. Oh. Nope, that's not what I wanted. Oh, cool. There's a picture of L.M. Montgomery. 1874 to 1942. There is, like I said, there's talk of God in this book. Marilla makes her go to church, and at the very last sentence says, "God's in his heaven, all's right with the world," whispers Anne. This is after she has she's very young, by the way, to be a teacher. I think she's 16. She graduated. Schooling is very different. But her and Gilbert become friends, and then that's why I need the rest of the books. The TV show, Anne with an E, had a lot of this, right? They they embellished a lot. But I like that TV show too. And then the original TV show, TV movie, oh my gosh, who was in it? I had it on VHS. So the one I had was a VHS tape, and it was double VHS tape, and it was one of my favorite things to watch. I think this was the one. So, Anne of Green Gables has been done a lot. There's been several different renditions of it, but the one that I had on VHS tape, I believe, was this one. I'm watching a little preview. Yes, I think this was it. Let's see if there's any pictures. Yes, this one. It was from 1985. It was on 2 VHS tapes, and it was an hour and 40 minutes long. Do you remember when VHS tapes couldn't hold very much? The Titanic was on 2 discs. The original It movie was on 2 VHS tapes. I had that also. Anyway, it had Meg Follows as Anne Shirley and Colleen Dewhurst as Morella and Richard Farnsworth as Matthew. Trying to see if there was anyone. I know. Most people don't even remember these people. But I had it on, like, that was one of my first VHS tapes. I got a little TV for my birthday one year, and it had a little VHS player attached to it, and it was one of my first VHS tapes. And so I've seen I've seen that one, and then I saw one on TV that was different actors, and then Anne with an E recently. And Anne with an E does have some scenes in it that are not child appropriate. They do have flashbacks, and in the book, they talk about how the male teacher in the beginning shows favoritism to one of the females. And if you've seen Anne with an E, it's a bit more than favoritism. But this is clean. It doesn't go into anything. They don't talk about anything inappropriate. It's witty and it's beautiful. I love, like I said, I love all of the descriptions. It makes you, like, if you have an imagination like me, you see it. You see it. I don't know what else to talk about. I loved this book. And this book in particular, I don't think they sell it anymore. I found this in Half Price Bookstore for like $9, and I had to grab it because it's so pretty. And I work for Paper Pie, and we sell Usborne books, but this book is gone. It's not available anymore. And so when I found it, I snagged it because I hadn't got a chance to buy it. I also have the paper version that I keep showing in some of my videos. I have that in storage somewhere. And, yeah. It's in storage. But I've had it for years and I've never read it. And then I found this, and we're living with my niece, and she was like, you're doing a reading challenge. What about kids? And I was like, I'll make one for you too. So I did. And then I started reading the books that are on there also. And some of them she's not allowed to read because I didn't. Some of the books that we read in school as 9, 10, and 11-year-olds, I would not let my kid read as a 9, 10, or 11-year-old unless I knew she could comprehend the situations. Okay? And that's one of the reasons why I started reading the books on there too and doing these videos, because I didn't want to be like, hey, let your kid read these and then not know what they're about or not remember completely what's in them. There was this one book that I almost put on the list. And I was like, oh, I loved this book. It was so good. It had something to do with Egyptian something or other, and there were hieroglyphics, and I don't remember the name of the book, but when I was making the challenge, I looked it up, and what I remember of the book was not the same as what was in the book. And I was like, they let us read that in school? And then my teacher had the audacity to be like, oh, you're reading Stephen King? Anyway, that's why I'm doing the preteen teen reading challenge too. If you want the preteen teen reading challenge, I will leave that in the link. And the adult reading challenge I will leave in the link also, which I found that some of the books that I have on my adult reading challenge would be good for the preteen reading challenge. What? Anne of Green Gables, it's a check mark from me. I am still working on Stephen King's Fairy Tale. If you saw my last video, it hasn't been but maybe a day since I made that video, so we're definitely going to make a video about this book because I was confused and now I'm not, and I want to make sure that other people understand too. Can't wait for the next book to come into my library so that I can read it. I'll be making a video on all of these books very shortly. I'm not going to have the books because they're library books, but I'm just going to save it for later. And then I will be making a video about some TV shows that I've been watching. There are some really good ones, and some that I was like, fell a little short. So that is all I have to talk about. Like this video if you like this video. Like this video if you like this video by giving me a thumbs up. Comment below, do you like Anne of Green Gables? And do you have any preteen teen recommendations for next year's reading challenge? I am starting to gather things for that. Subscribe if you're not sure you want to subscribe. Click on my face. It'll be down here somewhere. And you can check out my other videos on my channel. It'll take you to my channel and then you can click playlists because I got a handful of playlists. And then share this video because you okay? Okay. Share this video because other people might want to know about Anne of Green Gables. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.